Yes, hello. So I was thinking about, I just saw the news about David Lynch and they found out what was the cause of his death. That got me thinking, of course, about his works. And, I can only say in hindsight that I'm glad that he got to do his show Twin Peaks to continue it in a time where it was less censorship and because the all those scenes that I have seen from those new seasons, I mean, no way would they have been released back in the early 90s. No way. So yeah, I mean, you who have followed his work know that. I mean, his movie based on Twin Peaks series was really panned, was not a success at all, even though it has, of course, gained a cult following. And well, I remember when that Twin Peaks show hit the screen. I was like 12, 12 years old in 1990, and that was, like, I mean, nobody had seen anything like that before, I believe, on TV for sure. Yeah, that was just wow, like, holy crap, did I just see that? Of course, it wasn't for the faint hearted, but also it had a good deal of humor and warmth, like, not many fantasy horror kind of movies or shows have warmth. So that's what I liked about it. It had warmth and humor also. And the protagonist, the main hero, was very human as well, and very charming, charismatic person, and very well played by Kyle MacLachlan. I'm really almost angry that he didn't get enough recognition for his roles in all those Lynch movies and that show also, of course. I don't believe he got a single award. I'm not sure if he even got nominated for, well, not for a major award anyway. That was a huge snub there. I mean, he was amazing, pretty amazing. But I guess because of the nature of his role, it wasn't a spectacular role where he had to make, he had to be really out there. And it wasn't, I mean, his character was a character that was pretty subtle. He didn't show emotions really like strongly, but he did have to play an evil version of himself also, which is pretty hard. He did have to do that. So kudos to Mr. McLachlan. And yeah, I mean, I watched. I in 2019 I watched the movie Twin Peaks, and I remember way back reading about it. It had gotten very mixed reviews, and yeah, but it seemed to have gained a cult following, and so yeah, I just wanted to see it because I had seen those first two seasons, and I always had a feeling that show ended on a really unfinished, on a bad note. Really, I mean, we didn't get to see it. It ended in a bad way, put it that way. And I think there were plans for another season. I think so. I'm not sure, but I think David Lynch was pretty frustrated because of the fact that he wasn't given enough freedom to do exactly what he wanted here. And so that's why I'm so happy that he finally got that freedom in 2017 when that show returned. But back to the movie, yeah. The movie, I was the movie really pretty much blew me away, but also, man, when you after you see such a movie or a film, it is hard to sleep, sleep peacefully, of course. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend to most of you. I mean, those of you who are kind of who don't enjoy scary stuff, to watch it until the last 15-20 minutes. Those are really the worst minutes. The worst is the ending, definitely, by far. Even though also before that there are a few scary scenes, but not that many. They are, tolerable anyway, tolerable. So, yeah, that was. I mean, there are some fantastic scenes there. Really, really fantastic. I was always impressed by his ability to create so much out of very little, in a setting, in a very everyday setting. He was able to create a whole new world of, fantasy but of course, dark fantasy, and which is perhaps the strongest kind of fantasy, actually. Yeah, probably. Um, so yeah, in that very everyday setting, showing just ordinary houses and homes, and there wasn't that much, there was some scenes, of course, like in Twin Peaks, where characters go into the woods and stuff like that, but there was no real, like, a real kind of adventure world there, so, but he still managed to make such a fascinating and exciting kind of story, and yeah, based on all that. So yeah, I mean, I'm just happy that he got to, I mean, to finish that great saga of Twin Peaks. And when it comes to his other movies, like, for instance, I have seen almost all of his movies. I didn't see the first one, Eraserhead, or the last one, Inland Empire. And but the rest of those I have seen, yeah. And well, which ones would I rate as the best or my favorite? Well, of course, Blue Velvet is really a classic. And it's also very interesting how he, once again, that is not really a horror picture, but he manages to make it scary also by, that guy, the evil guy played by Dennis Hopper, Frank Booth, yeah, that's his name. Yeah, what a performance. But once again, that movie also had a really great performance by Kyle MacLachlan, which was ignored totally by the award boards. So, what can you do? Isabella Rossellini, of course, also really marvelous in that movie. Dune, the first one that the first one, of course, that was made. The problem is, I don't feel it's fair to compare, it to this modern day Dune, because of, back in those days you didn't have those effects, of course. So everything, of course, now it looks pretty, well, not gonna say silly, but kind of, almost ridiculous compared to the Denis Villeneuve version, and but still it was interesting. Also, not his best, not one of his best works, definitely, because it was based on somebody else's book, and while all the others, or most other of his movies, are based on his writings in cooperation with somebody else. So yeah, but still, I feel that movie has gotten way too much flack unfairly, and yeah, just I feel in the modern Dune there's Chani. She's kind of just too annoying. I feel, and in the original version she was just alright. And yeah, that feminism thing, and yeah, that's what ruins it now. It doesn't, isn't that true? And yeah, as I said, Blue Velvet, I like. Wild at Heart, well, not as much. It is kind of interesting, but I feel he didn't accomplish what he wanted with that movie. It was kind of supposed to be sort of like a Wizard of Oz, something kind of, yeah, parallel. I don't know, modern day. But yeah, it was. It's good, but it's not one of his best. Not one of my favorites either. Another thing, I don't really like Nicolas Cage, so that also kind of ruins it for me a little bit. Laura Dern is alright. Um, and then, came what was his, well, you might say, worst movie in the 1997, Lost Highway. Still pretty interesting at first, anyway, but in the end, it just gets too complicated, too messy. And then he made A Straight Story, which is a really beautiful film. He's only one that's just beautiful. It's not scary at all, or yeah, not tragic at all. So, and then Mulholland Drive, which was a masterpiece, also really one of my favorites. That's my second one on that list. And well, the Twin Peaks movie I like, but I wouldn't call it a favorite because it's just too heavy, too yeah, too much simply. And yeah, so I guess my three favorite films by David Lynch would be, well, let's put that one in, all right. So I would say Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me, and Mulholland Drive. I like The Straight Story, but yeah, it's a departure. He just wanted to make one ordinary movie you know, for once. And yeah, as I said, I didn't see Razorhead, but I read about it a lot. It doesn't sound like a movie I would enjoy really, but fair enough. And Elephant Man also. Well, I must confess, I watched it once long ago and I didn't get to see the end. I went to bed, it was late. So, I cannot really say, but it is a great, everybody loves it. Everybody says it's a great movie, but it's very also heavy, very emotional. So, I wouldn't, probably wouldn't call it one of my favorites. So yeah, there it was. I think also in the end, what I wanted to say, what I really liked is I'm not gonna brag, but I did kind of pick up actually on the fact that the main villain in the Twin Peaks universe, or the one that we see anyway, is actually based on, on and we see that in the new Twin Peaks series. He was created by the atomic bomb, and I like that. And he also showed the first test of the atomic bomb in Washington State, and that was his message, against that great evil of our time and this world, and a great message that it simply is an evil thing. It's an unthing, and it has created a lot of evil. So yeah. So thank you for giving us all your works. Oh, by the way, I didn't see. Of course, in 2014 there was a a new version of Fire Walk with Me with some new scenes and some scenes that were cut. And yeah, I mean, with some new scenes, with a lot of new footage that wasn't unseen. I gotta see that one. It sounds very interesting. I really loved, for instance, the character of Chester Desmond, played by Chris Isaac. He was really good. A pity he just disappeared and never was seen again. And I had hoped that his fate would be revealed in the new Twin Peaks series, but it wasn't, sadly. So yeah. Anyway, I thank you, David Lynch, for everything you gave us. Rest in peace.